Hi, my name is Newell Davis with World Composting, and today I have finished building this first of the VermiBags, which is the mini one. So we're going to take a look at this bag. I'm going to bring you down here and take a look at it. So I did the PVC instructions here. This is 1-inch PVC. I have not painted it yet because I wanted you guys to see how it's constructed, and then I'm going to paint it. Now, when you're doing yours, as you can see here on the bottom and everything, it's all PVC. When you're doing yours, don't glue it together. It doesn't say to in the instructions. Some people might think, oh, that's going to help, but don't glue it together, because if you glue it together, you can't undo these things like this. Let me just show you here, to get these straps on and off, okay? And that's the way, if anything ever you wanted to take the bag off for any reason, that's what you would need to do, is you would need that strap. So I'm going to push this back together now. Now, I am going to paint this in a blue color, but I have not done that yet. But I thought this would be a good chance to kind of look over this bag a little bit and see how it's a little bit different than the Urban Worm Bag, and some of the things that are good about it, and some of the things that I really, really like about it, and some of the things that maybe I'm not as crazy about. So the first thing is, this is the mini. Okay, this one's a small one, so we can't compare size at all. And it says on here, VermiBag. It also has these, I have to say, these are actually kind of a neat idea, having these straps here. I use a lot of tools. I don't know what'll fit in here exactly, but I can also, hold on, let me just show you here. If I wanted to, I could hang something on there kind of like this, just to have it hanging by the side. If I had these don't happen to have any hooks on them, otherwise I could hook them on, which would be better. So we have that. We have our window here, which there's nothing in here, so it's kind of light. So we have the window you can see in. This is held on really well. It feels very solid. It's not going to come off. It's stitched and glued. And then there's the Velcro here to keep it shut. We have our, again, this is very stable, I have to say, but we have our zipper compartment down here. Let's see if I can find the zipper on it. All right, hold on here. Right. So we've got our zipper compartment here, and then you have this extra piece of flap inside to make sure everything kind of falls into your bucket after you unzip it. So we'll see how this works. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I think this one, this is the big difference between the two bins, is this bottom section here. So I have the Urban Worm Bag and I have this VermiBag, and this is the big difference here. This one has this extra little flap to keep everything away from the zipper. And I don't know if that's going to be a huge deal, but something tells me that might be really help out when emptying. So let me zip that back up here. Now, I don't have anything in here yet. Now, one of the other things that's very different, and that is this has a mesh top. So I'm going to unzip it here. It's a very, very lightweight mesh top, and you can see my hands through it. So, which is different. It's going to allow a little bit more airflow. It also unzips all the way to the end here, so you can just kind of have it hanging back. You don't have to have it attached to one side, although I don't think that makes a huge difference. This is a very high-grade mesh, I could tell. I mean, it doesn't feel like I'm going to break it in any way. Again, same thing on this inside. Now, I don't know. This feels a little bit abrasive, which might actually be nice. Worms tend to, if it's plasticky, stuff tends to stick to it. This, I think, is textured enough where stuff won't stick to it. Again, we have some nice double stitch sides inside, which I went over before, and the stitching over here to hold on the zippers. This is the one part I'm not as crazy about, are these side tabs. I do like the fact that the other one kind of goes all the way across in the Urban Worm Bag, but at the same time, I also realize that this one is more adaptable. Now, I've had some questions already about some of the differences, but also some things about how you should use them. Now, or who should use which one, I guess. And just looking at these to start, if you have no ability to build these things, you probably should get the Urban Worm Bag, because this did take a little bit of effort. It's not hard. I did have, I'm going to show you what I did here. I bought 5 pieces of pipe that were 5 feet long. I cut them up using a pipe cutter just like this. You just undo this here. And these things are very convenient. Hold on here. Let's just see if I can get this. There we go. So all you do is you put it in and you ratchet down. Now, the one thing I love about using a pipe cutter like this instead of sawing stuff, which you can also do, is the fact that when you're done, I'm going to show you here, there is no dust or anything. It leaves a nice clean edge. These, you can buy these pretty cheap, I think, on Amazon. This one I think was $10 or something like that from Home Depot or something. But I actually needed this for some other stuff too, so it wasn't just for this. But it makes a very nice clean cut. Now, this is one of the leftover pieces from this pipe right here, so it's the right size of what I needed to use it for. And I kind of like having something that I built myself. I'm different in that way. If I wanted to get, let's say, 2 of these, I could buy different connectors. I could have 2 of them right next to each other with no big deal. Plastic tends to work a little bit better, especially when painted outside. I did have one person asked about being outside with these bins. If I had to choose between being outside with an urban worm bag that I have over here, let me just show you again, just so for anybody that hasn't seen, but this is my urban worm bag, and the vermi-bag, I'd probably choose the vermi-bag, and I'd probably build something on top to keep out the water. The reason why I say that is you wouldn't want the water coming in because it would go right through this bag, which isn't a bad thing, but it would just travel right through it into the bottom section and probably create a huge watery mess. So it wouldn't work really well for that, but if you have heat, this mesh top will let the heat just evaporate a lot more quickly out of there. Otherwise, I could see the urban worm bag, if you had that outside, it has this top on it that is kind of sealed. And that works great, but if you had water on here, this would either pool with water and you'd have to drain it off and tilt it, or the water would seep through in some way and possibly get it. I mean, it has all these stitching and everything here. I don't know. It's just, to me, it just doesn't seem like it would be as good being outside where it would get water on it. It'd also be harder to probably build the roof because you have your metal frame here, which I think is great for inside, but probably not as good outside, even though it's powder coated and everything. Something scratches this and all of a sudden this is going to rust probably. So that's just my opinion. So if you're going to keep something inside, I think the urban worm bag is a pretty good option. And especially if you don't have any building capabilities whatsoever, definitely get the urban worm bag. The fact that this frame comes with it is going to make it a lot easier for you. Whereas if you like to build yourself and you want to maybe do some modifications or change things, this is definitely the way to go. Also with this, the pipes are a little bit thicker. It can easily support my weight. I mean, I can lift myself off the ground actually with this. It's amazing how much PVC can really support when you think about it. And these are pretty tough. Now you want to make sure you paint these. This stuff, I don't know if this stuff does, but a lot of this plastic material can break down and become brittle when it's outside in the sun. So you really want to paint it. Again, though, you want to have it together when you paint it, just as you don't want to glue it. You want to have it together when you paint it, because then when you force it together, if it's painted, it might not come apart or it might scrape the paint away. So you really want to to take this bag off, take it apart, put it back together without the bag on it, paint the entire thing, which is what I'm going to do, and then you're going to be taking it apart one more time to get this bag on. So this is going to my son's classroom, so I have not loaded this up with anything yet. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the quality of both these bags. I think they're great products. I'm really surprised that it's taken this long to really have some great products in the market. I mean, I remember seeing, I can't remember what the name of it was. There was another company that made a bag product, but I don't remember really finding a way to order it years ago when I first saw it. So the fact that we have 2 of them now is really shocking, and it's a nice feature. So now let's just take one more look in here while we're at it. Now remember, this doesn't have any weight to it right now, so it's just kind of flopping around because there's no weight in the bottom. So when you're looking inside, you can see it's pretty deep. It's a much deeper bin than you would normally have probably for red worms, but I think it'll work because I'm not going to fill it up all the way. The screen, hold on here, I'm going to come around to the other side. Rotate this around a little bit so it's in the light. This plastic screen here, I want to make sure that you go a little bit above it maybe, but not too much, maybe about halfway, and have food right next to it so the kids can sort of see what's going on. And at the same time, they realize it's not overly filled here, because that would be pretty deep to fill up with newspaper and shredded materials and then your worms as well. So I want to make sure that it's not too deep, so they can immediately start seeing the action of the worms as they come in daily. So I know I've covered a lot of information here, and I'm sure you guys have a lot more questions about these bins. I really don't feel you can go wrong with either one so far. The question will be is harvesting. Do these flaps in this bin really make a huge difference or not? We'll see, and it'll be interesting to see how this goes. So I was hoping to take it in originally today, but with the snow that we had on the ground, I wasn't able to take this outside and paint it. I'd kind of have to wait. So this is my first step towards the mini one, and then I also have the wood available. I just purchased the wood today actually to make the larger one. VermiBag, which is more on par with the Urban Worm Bag as far as size. So we're going to test that out too. Again, I like building stuff myself. I have all the tools to do it. It's very handy for me. I mean, except for the pipe cutter, I didn't have that, but I didn't mind buying that. If you are not handy, I highly suggest the Urban Worm Bag. It has everything you need. You just put it, it's just plug and play essentially. This takes a little bit more work, but I don't think either one is wrong. It's just a difference of builds. So that's my review so far, and we will get more reviews as I continue to use these, and I'm hoping that, I don't know how long it's going to take to fill these up, but these are big bags. I might have to require some help to get some more inputs for food and everything, because I just don't know if my house is going to produce enough to keep everything I have going here. Or I'm going to have to empty out my other bins and start adding it just to these two Urban Worm Bags. Now this one, as I said, is going to school, and that is it. So I thank you, everybody, and please like and subscribe my videos. Thank you.